Well, hello again, everybody. I'm walking and I'm holding the camera by hand, so pardon the jostle. I've shaved off my beard for summer. I'm wearing my straw hat and I'm going to run around and water shrubs, trees, and flowers here on a day that promises to be in the 90s. Hope you all have a good 4th of July weekend. I do want to share a Spongy Moth update with you. What's happening now is that the vast majority of the caterpillars have either died or have begun to pupate. So if you look carefully, especially in the nooks and the crannies, the shady areas, cooler and more protected areas of bark, you will see these little pupa cocoons, which is where the caterpillars have gone to transform themselves into moths. If you feel like slicing these in half, please feel free. Those moths will emerge over the course of the next couple of months and start to lay eggs. The females, that is. The males are much smaller and don't pose so much of a threat, obviously. Anyway, again, watch out for those little nooks and crannies. Often you'll see little collections of dead caterpillars, cocoons, pupae, and moths. Not quite yet, but when those moths emerge, they'll all be hanging right around the same spots, and then the moths will start laying their eggs. They'll do so on just about any surface. Sometimes it'll be easy to get to, other times it won't be easy to get to, as we saw this year. There is no question that they are indiscriminate about where they lay eggs. And that was a problem this year because, contrary to some popular belief, they were laying eggs way up in the tops of trees. So we found ourselves rubbing them off as best we could in the context of doing tree work. And as we know, rubbing them off and letting them drop to the ground really is no guarantee that we are getting rid of those eggs at all. They really ought to be collected. Dropped into soapy water is the best management practice as far as that goes. So that's your job over the next several months, all the way up until the end of next April, when we potentially start to see a second or third hatch, depending on where you are. And again, I'm in southwestern Massachusetts, Columbia County, New York, Litchfield County, Connecticut. This has been the epicenter of this latest outbreak of the spongy moth here in the Northeast. So really appreciated your comments, your interest, feedback. There's lots of little microclimates here, so many different experiences this spring and summer. If you've been defoliated again for a second time, then I believe those will be areas of West Stockbridge, Austerlitz, Litchfield County, pretty badly, parts of Egremont, Alfred, Massachusetts. It's about these different elevations where the outbreak happened first last year in 2021, and where there were a lot of egg masses and a lot of hatch and a lot of caterpillars. That's where we saw defoliation for a second year. I'm super concerned and focused on the trees in those areas. Talk to your arborists, take notes, watch for refoliation. You will see trees starting to put out new leaves already. It's immediately after having been defoliated. They'll still try to put on growth of the leaves that are actively being munched or that were munched, or they'll put out brand new leaves. And it's been really kind of fun to watch that overlap. A lot of different things going on. And again, in all of these different areas, very different experiences. So again, don't panic. You're not alone, but let's communicate about this this experience so that we can share it with others that will continue to experience this forever. Again, spongy moth's been in this country for 160 years. There are a couple of natural pathogens that we've talked about: Entomophaga maimaga, which is a fungus that was introduced and then it requires some rain. And then, of course, the NPV virus, which occurs in the spongy moth species and depends on it being stressed, the species being stressed by competition for food, and getting the bigger they get, the more susceptible they are to it. Okay, a little bit of overview there. Thanks again for your interest. Stay in touch. Talk to you soon. Happy 4th.